James, you just returned back home. You were supposed to fight in a bare-knuckle fight, but your opponent was overweight. Can you tell us what happened exactly?
Yeah, hi Ron. Thank you for having me on. I just returned from Miami, so it was a long week. I had to go out early to do medicals, and yeah, I had to go and do, of course, with the boxing border control in Florida, they're quite strict. So we had to go and do EKGs, MRIs, eye tests, and all blood work and medicals. And yeah, it was kind of weird because all week people were texting me about my weight, asking me, make sure that I'm on weight, I'm under 265, make sure that I'm on weight. Every medical I go to, they weighed me, they did my height. You know, you do the normal physical, right? So every physical you go to, your blood pressure, so forth, they take your weight. And I just kind of strange because there was like a narrative being led to me from the start that Kharitonov was on, hadn't been training, and he was on vacation and all this kind of stuff. And I don't really ever believe that, you know what I mean? Because I'm an old soldier. And anytime I go to fight someone, especially a veteran like Kharitonov, I know Sergey has fought for Glory, he's fought for Bellator, he's fought all over the world. So I never take too much. A fight is a fight. And especially a bare knuckle one, you have to pay much attention, you know, it's a very dangerous fight. So anyway, I did my things, and then I passed everything. And then on Friday, we had the weigh-ins, and I saw him as I pulled up in the car park doing pictures. And I was like, wow, man, he looks big. But I was just driving past, so I couldn't really pay much attention. And then as I walked up, I walked across and shook his hand to get close. And I just did it because I wanted to see like the reference of how big he was. And yes, he wasn't so much tall. He was a little bit shorter than me. They told me he was 6'5", but he's not. He's like 6'3" or something. But yes, he was big. So anyway, we go into the building. We do all the medicals and procedures and photo shoots. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what it was. I just walk into the office and I see him on the scale. Hang on a second. So I go to my contract on my phone because I know. And I was like, have I made a mistake? Like, did I read it wrong? I've been cutting weight. I'm 255. I was 268 when they called me. So I was making sure that I was below, you know, doing my road runs and getting my diet into aspect. And no, it said the weight limit was 265 plus 1 pound. So I was like, oh, okay, now we have a problem. So I tell the correspondence. And then kind of like, I knew they knew then. But when my people spoke to them, their faces was not shocked. They just said, oh, okay, well, we'll give you $2 more $1,000. And I said to him, like, whoa, that's not how negotiation happens. Whoa, 1 second. It was the matchmaker offered me $2,000 and then just kind of walked away as if like, but he did it very dismissively. First of all, $2,000 doesn't pay for my car for the month, so that was not gonna cut it. But second of all, the way it was done was very disrespectful. And the matchmaker, I just kind of looked at, so I stopped him, and I told him a completely another figure, which obviously he was very shocked at. So anyway, I said, listen, no matter what happens, we need to sit and discuss this to move forward. This is not correct. But they wasn't shocked when I told them his weight. They wasn't. We haven't even got on the official scale yet. This was in the weigh-ins for the medical scale. So we all go to the office and everyone sits in there. And the show is BYB, which is run by Dada 5000. And Dada's a nice guy. He's been very proud of me. But he wasn't in the meeting. His correspondents were, and they're doing a deal with the Russian guys. You see that slap fighting tournament, you know, where they slap each other across the table.
Yeah.
So that's why I think they wanted America versus Russia, me versus Kharitonov, and it was going to be. Dada was bringing the bare knuckle side. They were bringing the slap fighting. But of course, they have a massive television network, right? Millions of people watch it on YouTube. So they wanted a good bare knuckle fight to happen to build that crowd. But yeah, negotiations tried to start place. They tried to, first of all, tell me that it wasn't a big deal and that he was fat and he hadn't been training and he's on vacation, which is all rubbish. I saw him training with Evander Holyfield in Miami. So I know that wasn't true, right? So I said, listen, there's no way you bring your top guy from Russia to fight against me for all of your millions of Russian fans to watch him lose. That doesn't happen.
No, but because how much overweight was he?
He was almost 30 pounds, 28.5 pounds overweight.
Okay. So, so they offered you money, as you said, they offered you money in a destructive way to say, okay, we give you 2,000 and then you fight him, or
yeah, just like $2,000, then you can fight him. And I said, whoa. First of all, that would not be nowhere near enough money. But second of all, there's a few things we have to discuss. Like, first of all, why is he overweight? This is not possible.
yeah,
It's very disrespectful to the fans and also to myself, because I've seen Kharitonov for years. We have mutual friends, and also I've been watching him fight for years. I'm a fan of him. He's a great fighter, right? He's a tough guy. He never missed weight once in his career. Now his friends were financially backing the show. He misses weight by 30 pounds. That's a bit of a
that's a lot.
coincidence.
Yeah,
And it's a coincidence, you know? So, and the thing was, it's not like we were going to fight in like a 20-foot size ring. It wasn't a ring or a cage. We were fighting in a 2 meter by 2 meter triangle. It was very small. If my coach stood in the ring on one side of the belt of the ropes and I stood the other side, when we put our hands out in the middle, we touched knuckles. So
okay,
that's how small it was. So it benefited being a bigger guy, a very small ring. It took the style away from boxing. It took the technique out of the fight. It made it just going to be who could hit the quickest and hardest in land, really, you know. So yeah, I wasn't very happy with it. We started negotiations. I told them, okay, if we're talking money, then I want this amount, X amount. They just said, no way, it's not possible. They said that they only had $5,000 in the bank. That's all they could do. And I said, well, okay, that's not enough. No problem. I'm sorry that we couldn't come to an agreement, and I'll take a walk. Then they come back and said they had $10,000. I said, oh, now you find five more. Like, you need to keep looking, because this is not going to happen for this small amount of money. After a while, it just got to a point where the negotiations got a little bit aggressive. They started to make out as if it was like, if it was my fault,
okay,
as if, because they actually tell me, this is why I wanted to do this interview, is because I really wanted to talk to some of the younger fans out there, and younger fighters, because this is what I'm afraid of. What happens in these negotiations is they try to bully you into say, like, you don't want to fight. And the younger fighters coming up listening to this interview, I want them to understand that's never the case. If an opponent doesn't make weight, it's always going to be their decision whether they take the fight. They should never feel like they're being bullied into taking a fight, because it's now unfair. If we go by the rules, we're both in the 265 guidelines of a contracted state, and you don't fight, of course, then you pull out. That's your problem. But if the rules get broken where he doesn't meet the guidelines, now you can negotiate a deal, which usually is a financial deal or maybe a change of rule set. But on this occasion, it was trying to be a financial deal. But they were trying to say to me, well, you just don't want to fight him. And I said, whoa, hang on a second. I've fought on everybody in the world that's been put in front of me. Win, lose, or draw, I've always said yes. I won't have you bully me. We could flip this circle real quick. Maybe because he come 30 pounds over, he didn't want to fight me. Why?
And is that the reason you think? Because
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. I know Kharitonov, he will fight King Kong if he wanted to. I think that he thought it's his friend's company, and he don't have to make the weight. And I thought they were going to bully me into taking the fight, and him being bigger would help him a lot more. Because why would you be asking me for weeks and texting me week after week after week, what's my weight? What's my weight? Make sure I'm under 265, and then for him to be almost 290 plus. You know, it seems like you were just trying to make sure that he was going to be much bigger than me.
And
So,
I understood from you that you didn't get another opponent, but he did. He get another opponent. Eh? That's what you told me. So he's overweight. He gets another opponent, but you are out of a fight.
yeah, that's another thing I want to discuss, is that I've never seen that before in my whole career. I've been a professional fighter since I was 16. That's 24 years. I've never seen somebody, no matter where they are on the card or wherever the fight's taking place, I've never seen someone be overweight by that amount of, or any amount, and still get a fight. And the opponent that made weight and was professional didn't get a fight. I've never seen that before. So what they did was they went down the card. They found a guy that was 219 pounds with an 0-4 record, means he had no wins, 4 losses. They threw him a couple of $1,000, and of course, I don't think he's taking his career too seriously. He's probably just happy to take a couple of $1,000, and they paid him to step in the main event against Kharitonov, which he got knocked out really quick.
Okay. Well,
So
just
that
as
was obviously
you
on the
said,
card.
it's a different game, of course. Bare knuckle fighting. It's not a joke. Everybody knows that. Do you think that it's a risk that they did that? And
Yeah, I can show you messages right now from my coach and I, and also to them, and I could screenshot and send them to you. Actually, the night before the fight, which was the night of the weigh-ins, I couldn't sleep. I woke up at 2 o'clock in the morning with a real pit in my stomach, and it's really strange because I woke up and I text my coach and said, "Hey, coach, I can't sleep. I feel really sick. I feel like something bad's going to happen, and this is going to be really bad for the sport. And also, I'm worried about this young kid. How can the boxing board of control, the commission in Florida, allow this fight to take place? Because with a guy that's had over, 60 fights, like Kharitonov, how can he fight a guy that's never won a fight and have 4 losses? And with an 80-pound weight difference with bare knuckles. I said, this is absurd. I'm actually concerned that something's going to happen to him, because he can get brain hemorrhage, he could die. One punch bare knuckle with their fists, a guy that a professional fighter that knows how to punch, which Kharitonov does. He has a big punch, right? He's a very heavy hitter. Yeah. He's knocked out some real big guys that could take a punch. He knocked out Alistair. He knocked out Roy Nelson. He's knocked out a load of big guys, right? So I was worried about it, and he actually texted me back straight away. And my coach said, "James, I can't sleep either. Let's meet downstairs and have a chat." We sat down in a hotel for 3 hours till 5 a.m, worried about our concerns. And we texted the company and said to them about our concerns, and we just got ignored. So at the end of the day, there's nothing we could possibly do further more than we tried to do. Okay. It's just a little bit shocking to see that kind of stuff go down after. If unfortunately, of course, bare knuckle gets a bad rap anyway, right? Because of course it's a little bit brutal. God forbid someone was to get seriously hurt, that would ripple across the whole sport, not just boxing. It would be MMA, Thai boxing, K1. It would go across the whole fighting federation, and I would not want to be associated with that, because it's not what I'm in the sport for. I would feel terrible because, of course, my fight didn't take place. So therefore, because I decided as an athlete and a professional to step down, I'm not fighting a guy who's overweight, that didn't make weight. We can't come to an agreement. I'm going to step down. I'm not going to do this. And if someone stepped in who was, in my opinion, making an unintelligent decision, a financial decision, if you like, of course, I would have to. If something was to happen to him, I would feel I would carry the weight of that in my emotion. Because of course, if my fight took place, he wouldn't have got hurt, right? So yeah, I'd be linked to it. So I felt very emotional about it, and I felt very disappointed. I was hoping that the boxing commission was going to step in and not allow it, and when they did, I was shocked. I couldn't believe it. And when the matchmaker matched that fight, I don't know what he's thinking. That matchmaker should be fired, in my opinion, and he shouldn't be allowed to be around any kind of matchmaking in any kind of sport. Truly unprofessional, and he doesn't care for the well-being of athletes. I don't think there's a sport in the world where you would put someone in with such a big weight difference, bare knuckles, in a tiny ring. Listen, I know we've seen freak shows in Pride and stuff like that, but there's been rule sets, there's been big, huge space, there's gloves, there's things in place. When you're going as raw as it gets in a bare knuckle world, and it is raw. I'm a fighter my whole life. I fought bare knuckle Muay Thai, I fought Muay Thai, K1, MMA. I've had my fair share, and I've fought a lot of different realms, and I fought professional bare knuckle boxing. So I've stepped into a lot of different realms, and I have my opinions, and I've been there, and I think I deserve my opinion because I've been and done it. But even that itself, I was very deeply concerned.
If you look now back at this adventure, you're going to leave it behind you. Is there something coming up? Because I saw some discussions on Twitter, people saying, that the company is going away, they will not going to pay fighters. So it looks like people doesn't take it serious, you know. Do you think that's going to hurt you, or you say, no, I will leave it behind me and I will go on?
No, I would take this as every fight you have and every company you ever fight for is always an experience, right? It could be a good one or a bad one. So I try to learn by all my experiences. At the end of the day, I had two emotions the next day after the fight. Two emotions. I thought one emotion was my normal intelligence side of my body. I'm a family man, businessman, and I thought, wow, they tried to set me up and tried to play my ego against me, and they lost. That didn't happen. I didn't fall for the trick. They were trying. I felt like they were setting me up from the beginning with this. But on the other side of it, there was the fighter in me, right? That trained for 8 weeks, focusing on my opponent and focusing on the victory and knowing I could win. Then there was that side of me felt that the carpet was ripped underneath him, and I felt like I didn't get the finished product that I wanted. So there was a love-hate finish to the end of this structure. But to answer your question, yeah, I will leave it behind me. I'm just going to move forward. I don't wish anyone ever in my life any bad, and I wish the company, if they do successful one day, I hope they are a success, and I hope they learn by their mistakes, and not to treat fighters the way maybe I got treated. Because the new companies have to live and learn how to make professional moves too. So it's not with any negative that I feel about them. I did get paid my show fee, so that's to clear that up. That was one thing they did. They paid me straight away my show fee. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm a fighter and I like to fight, and I have bigger expectations moving forward. I've been in talks now back and forth with Glory for a long time. And I've been offered to step in on 2 occasions to tournaments that I said yes to, which unfortunately due to COVID, we couldn't follow through because it was under 2 weeks notice. And it meant if I was going to fly to Holland to jump in the tournament, that I would be quarantined. I wouldn't be actually allowed to compete. So it's great that I've been in talks with them for so long. And I feel that in my career that I started in Muay Thai and then I grew to K1. And then, of course, I went over to MMA and went through the MMA UFC route. And then now I've come full circle back to K1. And after the last couple of years, being away for so long and beating the people that I beat, I feel that Glory is the place I should go to fight the very best. I fought Daniel Ilonga on 6 weeks' notice. And, of course, I beat Daniel. Daniel was doing very well, good stuff, and a great fighter for Glory. After that, Murat was undefeated in Holland. He was beating everybody in Holland and doing good. He was in talks with Glory as well. And then, of course, I go out and I beat him. His very next fight was for 1FC, where he won the 1FC heavyweight title after I just beat him. And then also I fought Londit and the fight got stopped due to a small cut, which was a silly stoppage. It was under my eye, wasn't even causing damage. And I felt I was winning that fight too. So I've shown that over the years I can mix it and beat some of the best guys. Even being away for K1 for so long and being back in such a short 12 months, I beat and stood there with some very good guys. And I feel now at my age and stage and my health in my career, I'm super healthy. I feel experienced. I'm 40 years old, but I don't feel 40, if that makes sense. My body is in good shape. I get great training camps. I'm much more intelligent and calm than I've ever been. And I can read the fight and my opponents way better than I ever have. So I feel like I'm a little bit like fine wine. I've matured a little bit with age. And I know Glory is a place that I can make a great fight. I mean, Badr and I was in consumption about making a fight a few years back in Dubai, and unfortunately that fell through because the show lost its finance and went under. So there's some good fights from me in Glory, I know, and I'm hopeful for the future.
Well, talking about Glory, of course, for the Dutch viewers, it's really interesting, because everybody's looking forward to the next event. We had 2 of them after the lockdown. We had one in December with Badr against Benny, and of course we had the K1 small tournament, with Rico in it. You train a lot in the Netherlands. Would that mean when they offer you a fight, you will come back here to train with Lucien Carbon again? And
of course, I've been training under Lucien for 20 years. Actually, on and off for 20 years. He's always been my coach. I always class him. Anytime I talk about my striking coach, I always refer Lucien because Klu has been the biggest influence in my life, as in my style that I fight. If people see me train or people see me fight, they know I'm a carbon fighter. Yeah, I always refer to Lucien in that respect. So if I was gonna, I've already said straight away, and I spoke to Lucien that I would prepare my complete training camp would be in Holland for that bout. If Glory was to present me with a fight, I would be in Holland the whole time, because I know it's the very best level of striking, but also I know my connection with Lucien is very strong, and for me to be my best fighter out there I can be, I need that with Lucien.
Okay, James, as of coming back to Glory eventually, when they offer you a fight, that's one of the possibilities, of course, because they always search for the bigger fighters, the good fighters. Rico, he's an opponent that everybody wants. Rico or Badr for that fight?
I would, to be honest, I feel that all these guys are just throwing Rico's name out there, but they've been away from the sport for a long time. Taron's been off doing boxing. Gokhan's been off in the UFC. I've been away doing MMA, and I've come back into K1 the last couple of years. But I feel that it's not true to the sport. You must earn your right and show the fans and the organization that you're worthy of a title shot. That's why I would not go in and say Rico's name. Oh, of course I'd like to fight Rico, but it's not possible because I haven't fought for Glory. So I need to go into Glory. I need to take a fight against a good name like Benny, like Badr. Badr and I would make a very explosive fight. It would be a fantastic fight. That would be like the Mickey Ward and Otoyo Gatti of K1. We are very similar in our mindset and the way we fight. Very aggressive people. We almost had a fight before in Dubai, so it would be great. And I say these people's names because I respect them and I know they're very good. They're the best in the world, and these guys, I want to fight the best in the world. They bring the best out in me. So yeah, I would love to go to Glory and just fight Badr or Benny or anyone the Glory want to give me. I'll do the rest. They give me that one contract, and I will do the rest. I will show the fans my level. I will show the organization my level, and I will work my way up. And yeah, and then until I make it to Rico. And that's what I'm happy to do, or whoever is the champion at that time. I'm only there to be the champion. I'm not there to just get along and be a part of Glory. I want to be there to be the champion. And at my stage of my career now, I have the experience. I know exactly what the capabilities are of myself. I've been in my biggest lows. I've been in my biggest highs. And I know what I can do. And I'm extremely, extremely excited about doing it in Glory. I just need that one opportunity.
Well, as the people who follow you, you know, they see that you're always training. Talking about Rico Verhoeven, he's always 70% battle ready. When we look at you, you train a lot. You have your own gym in the States, and you're always training. So when correct me if I'm wrong, but you're 70% ready also.
Always. I train every day. Minimum once a day minimum, sometimes twice a day without a fight. When I have a fight, I train twice a day, 6 days a week, and I've done that my entire career. And I just feel that I have a lot of fights in Muay Thai, K1, and MMA because I was always ready. And I was always 70 to 80% ready. And that way, if I got the call, I could step in at any given time. And I don't have to get ready. Plus, I'm not a fighter that just fights for fights, right? Because when you're getting ready for a fight, you don't improve. You're just preparing for the fight. I consider myself a fighter, but I also consider myself a martial artist. And I like to improve something every single day I train. I always have a plan every week on what I'm going to get better at. So over the years, I'm always helping. Plus, yes, like you said, I have a gym here in Dallas, and I've got a lot of young fighters that I have to train with every day and keep up with. They keep me young, they keep me healthy, and keep me pushing. So I'm a little bit egotistical. I don't like them to beat me, so I always try to push more than them. So it's a great circle for me. Yeah, I'm always going to be ready, and yeah, I don't really see how these guys get so much in and out of shape. I don't understand that, but it just that's never how I've lived my life.
Well, I can imagine, you know, you have to keep up with the young guys, just like you said. So you have to be 70% ready, of course. Also, if I look at the situation now in the Netherlands, you know, with the COVID stuff, it's expected that everybody's going to be vaccinated, you know, that needs it. So when it's after the summer that the events coming back, it would be nice to have the public there. Now all things are pay-per-view, so there was no public there. The last two events from Glory with no public, there was no audience, nothing. Do you consider that as a handicap? But you say, no, for me it doesn't matter if I have to fight for an empty crowd or for a crowd. No. I will fight.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me, because in the UFC, when I first started with them, I was in the Ultimate Fighter house. We had to fight in a big warehouse where there was no audience, no music, nothing. So I'm used to that. That doesn't affect me whatsoever. But the good thing about myself is that I'm English. So I have a British passport. So for me to fly to Europe is never a problem. I could fly to Europe today and I would have to have no quarantine. I'll just fly back to England and I could drive over to Holland, no problem, no issues. They cannot stop me from flying in and out to see my family. And of course, if Glory ever put on another event in America, of course I have a green card here as well, right? So I could fight for the. Usually, sometimes the American cards can be a little bit weak, or in the past, so it would be easy to strengthen that card, and I can fight in Europe and in America. So I have best of both worlds. So I can always be very available to Glory on both sides.
Well, it sounds very interesting, of course, for Glory as well. If I think a lot of people would like to see you there because you're an experienced K1 fighter, and they're doing the tournaments now, so that's really exciting. If you look at your UFC time, Alistair Overeem is a guy that just left or had to leave the UFC, but he's also at the same age as you are. Let's say when he would move to Glory, everything is possible because
he's actually just arrived in America today, and he's going to be arriving here in Dallas next week. He's coming out here to train with me for a little while.
Oh, that's nice.
We're going to spend some time together training, and we've been friends for 20 years because we come from the same coach, and we've always kept in contact over the years. I've always helped him for camps. He's come out and helped me for camps. He flew to Thailand to help me for my Dubai K1 fight. I've flown to Denver to help him with sparring. We have a friendship that goes deeper than just the sport. So we're going to help each other. He's going to come out and train with me for a little bit here in Dallas as well. So it's going to be good to have some extra guys, and that's what I would do over the years. If Alistair was deciding now to go back to K1, of course, Glory would be an option. ONE FC for him could be an option. I'm not too sure. He has loads of options, right? So he's amazing out there. He's a very big name, if not one of the, in my opinion, the pound for pound best heavyweight, in my opinion, of all time. So he has loads of options. I don't know what his next move would be, but if it was to go down Glory Road, of course, I would love to help him. And of course, if I'm going to go down the Glory Road, or we both are, we would help each other. So there's lots of expectations out there. It's a very amazing time right now and very exciting for the fans. So that's why I wanted to talk with you, Ron, first, because I wanted to clear up what happened with the Bareknuckle fight last week, and also discuss some exciting times possibly coming up in the future with Glory and moving forward.
You're very good friends with Alistair, and let's say that Glory would match you against each other.
We would fight, of course. We're friends, right? But it's not personal. It's like one time I was fighting I had to fight in Miami against a Dutch guy, Dion Starren.
Dion. Yes.
And I didn't know at the time, but he was doing his training camp at Black Zillions in Miami. It was like 8 years ago because my daughter had just been born at that time. And Alistair texted me and said, "Hey, James, just going to give you a heads up. Dion's with us, and I'm going to be in his corner. I hope you don't mind. It's not personal. It's just business." And I said, "Yeah, no problem." So then when I walked out to the fight, Dion said to everybody, I trained with all of James's friends. He trained with Tyrone Spong and Rashad Evans, all guys that I used to be friends with. And he said, "I know all of his weaknesses." So I was so mad. I was backstage and I heard it on the video. I said, "I'm gonna fucking kill this guy." So I walk out to the ring and I knock him out in 30 seconds, right? He doesn't touch me once. So I knock him out really fast. And then of course I go and touch hands with Alistair and my friends to say, "Hey, good fight." But then it got flipped. About a year later, I was coaching and holding and training Frank Mir. and Frank Mir had to fight Alistair also in the UFC. So I had to call Alistair, say, "Hey, Alistair, I hope you don't mind, but of course Frank's my student. I teach him, and I have to corner him when he fights you." And he said, "Yeah, no, it's no problem. It's just business." So I said, "Okay, cool." Then after he beat Frank, we got together in the hotel and we said, "Hey, let's do a deal. There's no more cornering each other against each other, right? Let's just be friends." But that's the thing. It's never been personal for us. It's just business. When we train, we spar, we do all the things that people do. It's just what it is. If they were going to make that fight, of course, I would not want that fight to happen because we're friends. But if we have no choice and it's the fight that they make, we're professional. We do our job and we go back to being friends.
Well, that's a good attitude, of course. And just like you say, it's just business. Well, I hope to see you in Glory, because I think a lot of the Glory fans would also. So I will make the call to Glory and say they have to recruit you again. So
thank you, sir.
that would be nice. Yeah, because it's always, the Dutch are always good at kickboxing, and you're one of the fighters that really adopted the Dutch kickboxing style. When
I was young, when I was 18 and I was already kickboxing, I was already a world champion in Muay Thai, but I went over to Holland to try and train, and I got my ass beaten so bad. It really humbled me. And I really was like, wow. And now I know why all the Dutch guys win the K1. So I really just, I had to work my way through and earn the respect with my team and the Dutch people, because a lot of people come in, a lot of people come into Holland to learn, but they don't stay. They just use it and they take it home. They steal it and they leave. They don't give back to the Dutch. In my opinion, the Dutch are, now I see everyone is Dutch style kickboxers, right? But they've even been to Holland. It's crazy. All over the world, everyone's Dutch style on YouTube and Instagram, but they've even been to Holland, or if they have, only for a week or two. I spent from the age of 18, 8 years straight in Holland with Lucien. I got my ass beaten so bad for so many years. And I was an A-class fighter, but he made me fight B-class because I wasn't Dutch style A-class. So I got humbled very fast, and I gave everything to the Dutch style, and I love the Dutch style and the Dutch people. So I've always kept that. And even when I left to go to America into MMA, I still would come back to train with Lucien or fly. I had Roberto Flamingo fly out and train with me because also he was a Dutch style as well, part of our GM. I've also used Robert, who's a Lucian's trainer as well. And for my fights, I've used Lucian whenever I could or whenever he was available. And now I'm, 24 years later, here I am still, using the Dutch style, and I've dedicated my whole life to it. So I'm very passionate about it. And I believe that I gave everything I could, no matter where I trained in the world, to still go back to Holland and train with the Dutch fighters and with the Dutch people and commit. I'm not a fake person. I don't want to try and say, I'm Dutch style because I went to Holland to, for 2 weeks, or like these guys go to vacation to Phuket or Koh Samui, and now all of a sudden they become Thai. It's not the way. I really spent quality time in Holland, and I fought there a lot. So I would like to give back, and I want to show the Dutch fans as well what I'm capable of doing and what they gave me and the Dutch style gave me.
Well, that's nice to hear, man. Well, I thank you very much that you approached us, that you want to tell your story to us, because it's an interesting one, and I hope for you that everything goes well, and that Glory will make the call, and say, come on, step on the bus and or step in on the airplane, and come over here and fight.
Wow.
Well, thank you very, very much for the interview.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all the fans for listening. And of course, we'll be in touch as soon as I get some information, but I think I'll be getting that call real soon.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And we will talk soon again. And we will follow you, of course, in every step you're going to make.
Yes.
Yes.